And welcome to Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. I'm Steve Swat with the Sacramento Report. In the next few minutes, we're going to talk about how some members of the legislature are trying to get the voters to redo a vote 18 years later. It's on affirmative action. My guest this segment is Bob Huff, who's the Senate Minority Leader. I almost demoted you.
Almost.
Thank you for being with us.
Great to be with you, Steve.
So this constitutional amendment that made it through the Senate but has stalled now would basically ask California voters to rethink their views on affirmative action, which they passed in 1996 regarding public education.
Yeah, actually, it did pass the Senate floor, got over to the Assembly. They found it so hot, it was like a hot potato. They pitched it back over to the Senate, and we think it will languish there now. They're trying to reintroduce race, gender, national origin, color of skin as the ability to make preferential treatment to admissions in our public schools. And we think that's obviously a step in the wrong direction, certainly not in the direction that Dr. Martin Luther King talked about when he wanted people to be judged by the content of their character instead of the color of their skin.
Well, the author of this legislation has said it's not a quota, and quotas have been determined to be unconstitutional, but it's a factor that he would like to see considered.
Well, and it begs the question, why do you need to have an additional factor? After Prop 209, the universities and the CSUs came up with a holistic approach to try to diversify the student body, and they've actually done a very good job. So they do it more on economic background, which I think hits more to helping people out of the cycle of poverty. Because if you have a college degree, it's shown that you generally get a better job and a higher pay than if you did have a high school degree. So to break the cycle of poverty is a good thing, and it's usually, that's a factor beyond a child's control. Race is also something beyond their control, but if you're going to start discriminating against something, they can't help if they're born with black, yellow, whatever the color of skin, but they can help if they work hard. So keeping the system the way it is right now has brought diversity, but it doesn't discriminate against us by race or national origin.
Has it brought enough diversity? In other words, the University of California student body statewide, certainly does not reflect the demographics of the entire state. And would that be a good thing if it did?
Well, it actually does a much better job than it did before 209 when we did discriminate by race. So since that time, we've seen in the UCs, our African-American population has gone from 4% to 4.3%, so the numbers have grown. Our Latino population has doubled. Our Asian population has gone up just a tad, but it was already much higher than its, what the percentage in the community was.
You mentioned the Asian population. That created a firestorm in that community because they have succeeded so well in terms of education getting into the University of California that they are overrepresented right now, and it's that firestorm, I think you would agree, that caused this legislation to be deep-sixed.
Right, because for Asians, education is their most important criteria. A parent will starve themselves to make sure the kids get after-school training, that they are ready for college, that they get enrolled in the best colleges, because they know that's Confucius was an educator, and they revere him, as we all know. And the Asians figured out that if they were 14% of the population, occupying about 36% of the admissions to the UCs, that if they're going to start fudging the numbers based on race, they were likely to lose seats, and that, of course, set them the wrong way.
And this shows you, though, I think, the increasing political clout of the Asian Pacific Islander community.
This is one of the first times they've actually spoken up, because they've been, many of them, voting Democrat. They have been keeping their heads down. They just want to, help their kids succeed, and this woke them up.
All right. Senator Bob Huff, thank you very much for coming by, talking about this important issue. We appreciate it.
Great to be with you, Steve.
And thanks to our viewers for watching Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. A reminder, you can see this and other interviews on YouTube, also on My Government On Demand. I'm Steve Swat. See you next time.